The death of San Antonio firefighter Scott Deem did not have to happen. That is the conclusion of a report released by the state fire marshal's office today.
Inside the report, 11 findings and 11 recommendations. What happened and what should have happened that night. Eyewitness News reporter Aaron Wright joins us now on set with what we've learned. Aaron?
In looking at this report, we've seen a number of decisions made, from how to attack the fire to firefighters straying from protocol, that showed decisions were made that made this night of May 18th more dangerous. Here's our first look inside the Spartan Box gym where that fire started. State fire officials say SAFD improperly used fans to channel the fire. Used correctly, fans can pressurize and funnel out dangerous combustion products away from a fire. But in this case, it was used too early and spread the gas to the opening and exit. Here's a look at just how big that fire was that night back in May of last year. Another important complication, according to the report, was freelancing. Firefighters initiated the search without a tagline, going inside a fire they never should have entered, and doing so without a fire hose. The search crew found what they believed to be a fire in the attic and took actions outside their assignment and began pulling down ceiling without a hose line ready and without command knowing what they were doing. Firefighter Scott Deem's death was ruled a homicide by the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office. He was a father who left behind his wife and 3 children. Firefighter Brad Phipps was taken to the hospital for treatment of his injuries from the fire. He was later released on August 1st to recover at home. Thursday, Chief Hood spoke with Eyewitness News to discuss some of the changes implemented since that deadly night and how they plan to use this report to save lives in the future. And that starts with decision making.
And so that's a go or no go. Whether there's a survivable person in that house, you have to be able to pull up and recognize right away if anybody can survive that fire.
And straight ahead at 6, we've got more on these recommendations and how they're folding them into practice every day, getting people on the same page and new protocols to keep everyone safer.
Well, that's the most important thing. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, great new information. And firefighters we've spoken to say this report is certainly hard to read because it brings back a big wave of grief.
Our team coverage continues now with Eyewitness News reporter Sue Kalberg live at Ingram Square, sharing reactions from the Firefighters Association.
Take a look at this. It's soot on my fingers. The soot still stains the walls here, even though the place has been demolished, even though we've had many, many rainstorms over many months. The building still bears the scars. Now, none of the firefighters want to talk about this publicly. It's too painful, but one of the very first text messages I got this morning from a firefighter said, "This is a bombshell that is going to take time to process." He said it's a spiritual wound that makes this loss even worse. And I sent him a message back that said, "The tears are falling as I read this report because it's just so sad." And he said, "That is what we're all feeling."
35 is on scene. We do have smoke showing coming from the roof of a large strip center.
The report rips the wounds wide open again from when 2 men were lost in a roaring inferno.
Be advised, we have firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 that are inside that we do not know where they're at. It's starting to get very hot in there. We still have a lot of heavy smoke.
The only response we've received from the association so far says they will continue to honor Scott Deem by evaluating every aspect of the report. And they say their sacred promise is to continue to train, to be prepared and ready for anything. Now, as we've already said, this report had recommendations and findings. It's 112 pages long. We figured that there were lots of people who have additional questions. So when I'm done here, I'm going to go back to the office. We're going to do a little Facebook Live. I'd invite you to join me. If you have questions, we will address individual questions on Facebook Live as we struggle, all of us struggle, to get through and learn these important lessons. Live at Ingram Square, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.